Well, at this point it's probably not a secret. Call of Duty Gundam is getting its very own crossover. Starting in Season 4 for all platforms to support Season 4, including Modern Warfare 3 and Warzone, there will be Gundam-themed packages, skins, bundles, all kinds of cool stuff for the game, cosmetical. Now, this seems to be rubbing both fan bases some weird ways. And to that end, I actually went out and solicited some opinions from both the R Gundam subreddit as well as the R Call of Duty subreddit. I asked both communities what they thought of this event, gave it a day, shook it up, and this is what came out. R Gundam in particular gave some really interesting results. It seems most people are receptive to the idea of this crossover, even if they don't play the game specifically. More or less, there's some pretty hopeful reception in here. Some good positive feelings. The overwhelming vibe of the place is mostly positive, with a pretty large negative chunk and a small little percent that's wondering why this wasn't Fortnite. Detractors are mostly voicing this might not be the best fit for the franchise, being a rooty-tooty Call of Duty shooter. They're afraid some of the anti-war message of Gundam as a whole might be lost in it. Another vocal portion just doesn't seem to want anything to do with Call of Duty itself. I guess it's kind of gained a bit of a stigma as far as toxic player bases and fan bases go. Can't say I've experienced it myself, but when there's close to 300 comments and close to 40% of them are saying similar stuff, apparently there's some kind of perception out there. That's not all bad. Like I mentioned before, there's quite a few people excited about the prospect of expanding our awareness to other large entities. God knows a media juggernaut like Call of Duty certainly isn't the worst to pair up with. Tens of thousands of hundreds of thousands of people still play daily. And between the multi-platform nature of the skins being able to be used in Modern Warfare 3, Warzone, or Modern Warfare 2 Remastered, it's a slam dunk as far as I'm concerned. The Call of Duty side, however, is not so convinced. Surprisingly, despite having a much larger population, I got a much lower response rate from them, but the results were pretty clear within those responses. After tallying up and collating all the responses, I ended up with a staggering 73% negative vibes coming off of them. And the wildest thing is, it's not entirely about the content of the crossover. Unbeknownst to me, apparently the player base has had an issue with the identity of the title for some time. I guess all these various wacky crossovers, monetization schemes have just pushed the game away from what they thought it was and should be into something that's wholly unappetizing. That said, I'm taking a lot of this off what I'm seeing here and a small bit of hearsay. This is not my world. I only really started playing because of the event itself, but looking at recent feedback, recent reviews, and a small amount of research, everything I'm seeing in these threads, it must have really turned into something weird for them to just turn this kind of vitriol back on the same game they play and allegedly love. That's not to say it's completely negative. There is that small 23% of people that are all for this, though each and every one I saw did a good amount of downvotes for their trouble. There's also a whole bunch that just don't know what Gundam is, and I'm at the very least excited to see how this can expand those horizons and just get us all enjoying together. Though I haven't been too much of a Call of Duty player in the past, I'm going to jump into this arms open and see what kind of fun I can get out of it. I hope you all join me for that experience.